Good morning. Good morning. Operations, correct? Yeah, my other one's broke. I break them like every couple weeks, so like $15 pair. I just keep smoking them and just finding them. Okay.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Andy. Can we have a roll call, please, Lisa?
Sure. Dean Schlottman. Here. Balich. Williams. Coleman. Freeman. Yes, here. Berkowitz. Here. Trainier. Pretzel. Here. Van Dyne.
Present.
Also present is Treasurer Newquist. We have 6. We have a quorum.
All right. 6 members present. We do have a quorum. Now I'd look for a motion to approve the minutes of November 2nd, the Operations Committee. Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dean Schlottman. Yes. Balich. Williams. Coleman. Freeman. Yes. Berkowitz. Yes. Trainier. Pretzel. Yes. Van Dyne.
Yes. 6-0, motion carries. Is there any old business to be brought forward to the committee today? No old business? See none? Okay, looks like we have 8 items to consider under new business, starting with number 1. Award of contract in the amount of $137,720 to Stantec Consulting Services of Monee for the 2024 campus facility landscape maintenance. Motion second. Is there previous? Second, previous by Frankie Pretzel. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, approval of task order number 23-06 and the not to exceed the amount of $56,010 to WBK Engineering for the design, permitting, and engineering for water access at 4 Rivers. Sir. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Anyone opposed? Motion will carry. Number 3, approval of ordinance number 651, authorizing the dedication of Sand Ridge Savannah Nature Preserve Buffer Addition. Any discussion? None? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, permission to bid Goodnow Grove Access Road Culvert Replacement. Motion. Third previous? Third previous, Micah Freeman. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Anyone opposed? Actually, with 6 members present, we just need a 4th on previous, and everybody gets involved. Okay, number 5, request to seek professional service proposals, the first phase engineering, DuPage River Trail, Weber Road Trail improvements.
Motion Pretzel.
Second, I have a question.
We'll go through the previous roll.
Okay.
Previous and second? Second. Thank you. Discussion, Julie, good morning.
Good morning. Ralph, I'm so excited about this. You know I am.
I know.
But I want to take this opportunity to bring up a safety concern in that area. And I don't know if we can address it. I've mentioned in the past that the volume of people using that trail is tremendous. And during the day, and even in the evenings, the people that are, and they're pedestrians, they're bikes, they're people on skates, they're doing everything. Even those motorized, crazy, dangerous things they're on. But there's 4 corners there, west and east of Weber, where all of these people gather to wait to cross the street. And I mean, they're spilling over. It's really a dangerous situation because those corners are too small to handle the volume of people. Is there an opportunity with this project to address at least one of those corners, or that would be the southeast corner, to enlarge that area so when these people are standing there waiting for the appropriate light, I mean, it's been a miracle somebody hasn't gotten hit by a car. It just really has been, we've been fortunate, but that's our biggest concern.
Yeah. What I can tell you is that that intersection is outside of the scope of the project that we did the feasibility study on. However, we will be coordinating with the city of Naperville and the Naperville Park District that manage that park, that section, that crossing. And I can certainly bring it up as part of those discussions with the city and the park district to see if there's something that we can do. Because our project has yet to really be defined under the, as part of a federal aid project, I believe that the scope could be expanded to include those intersections. But I'd have to go back and look and have some conversations with Colleen about it.
Well, I would appreciate it if we would do that, make it a priority, because when we expand this trail, we are going to be adding to the volume of people using that trail. And our goal should be public safety, prevent anything from happening. So if we can encourage them to do that, and I'm happy to reach out to Brad Wilson and his staff as well. Yeah. But I think I would like us as the Forest Preserve to, to encourage them to address this.
Yeah, I think it's certainly something that we'll bring up with them as part of the discussion, and I'm sure they're aware of the concerns as well. So maybe they even have some ideas already.
Well, we were hoping when we saw the big monument going up that something was happening, but it turned out to be a sign. So thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Julie, for that comment. Any additional questions or comments? None? We do have a second previous, so all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, request to seek professional construction oversight service proposals, the 3rd phase engineering of Plum Creek Greenway Trail. Questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Number 7, request to seek professional service proposals, Phase 1 engineering Wolf's Crossing Road Trail improvements.
Second.
Questions, Julie?
Thank you, Joe. Ralph, can you, I brought up the maps of the trail, And can you give us more details on how this trail is crossing Wolf's Crossing?
Sure. In the feasibility study, what was determined was that it would cross Wolf's Crossing Road from the north to the south, or south to the north, depending on your direction, at Carl's Drive, which is about halfway between the two endpoints of the trail. So it would be an at-grade crossing of Wolf's Crossing Road at this point.
Will there be a light there?
There probably will not be a light, but there will be what they call beacons, pedestrian beacons that would be installed that give warning to motorists that a pedestrian is approaching that cross section, or crosswalk, excuse me.
Has there been a traffic study on that road to a recent, I mean, just in
Not-
2022?
Yeah, not as part of the trail survey or feasibility study that we did. It's possible that the city of Aurora may have done one as part of their development of some other adjacent subdivisions further to the west, but I'm unaware of that.
Okay, so one of my concerns is with the crossing at Carlsbad across Wolf's Crossing. And I mean, I've gone out there in the morning, in the afternoon, in the early evening. That is a horrific road. And I just can't imagine how people are going to safely cross Wolf's Crossing. That's just my biggest concern.
So there's a variety of guidance that we get from the federal government and from the state government with regard to the appropriate way to develop an at-grade crossing for pedestrians and cyclists. And they kind of give guidance, and then that guidance is typically followed across the U.S. We will certainly be following that guidance with the development of this crosswalk, and I can say that at this point, the feasibility study that was completed essentially says you can get from point A to point B. That's what the feasibility study says. Now what we're starting now is what the phase one engineering is, and that is, okay, we decided we can get from point A to point B. Now how do we do that in the real world? What does it look like to actually construct this thing, to design it? So this is the stage at which we'll be reviewing and looking at ways to cross that roadway safely.
I feel like the only safe crossing is to have a bridge.
That's not feasible.
I know it isn't feasible,
Yeah.
but I
So,
just,
so in the end, what you do is you do the next best thing. And so you follow the guidance that you're given. And if the guidance dictates that the crossing be signalized in some way, then that would be included in the plans moving forward. But that would, and those are also reviewed by the state.
okay.
And it is very much dependent on the speed at which the traffic is traveling, plus the number of vehicles on the roadway.
And I can tell you they're going 40, 45 miles an hour at least. At least. And they will even go faster. And there is a slight curve in that road, and it's a narrow two-lane. So there is this bike trail will be crossing one residence, their property. They don't have a large front, and they don't have a long driveway. It's hard for them right now to enter and exit onto Wolf's Crossing. So we'll be taking part, I guess through an easement, we'll be taking part of their frontage to create the trail. And that will create an issue because they will be crossing their driveway. And they weren't really aware of this. The homeowner has a couple questions. She says she wanted me to ask, in reviewing the cost estimates in the document, I can see money set aside for tree removal. As these trees currently provide a privacy and sound screen, and she's referring to her property, we're wondering what allowance will be made for replacing the trees. And that's because this trail is going to go through their front yard. Then a second concern she has is she's concerned about the areas of her yard that are not in view of the house. They have an orchard, and how the increased foot traffic could have a negative impact on us. What can be done to minimize intrusion, such as fencing, landscaping, etc.? So do we have some feedback for her?
Yeah, all that's part of Phase 1 engineering. So the landowners will be identified that will be impacted, and then solutions, whether they be tree mitigation or fencing, as she may be suggesting, will all be incorporated into that Phase 1 document. And then moving forward, it's our intention, once we have the Phase 1 engineering completed, it allows us to then apply for federal funding through a number of different programs. In my personal opinion, this is a slam dunk for federal funding because we're linking the entire city of Aurora to the city of Naperville through this 3/4-mile trail section. So I think that we'll receive that funding. So any kind of improvements then are wrapped up into that project as it moves forward. With regard to the encroachment on her property, I don't really know what that will be at this point. We will certainly be utilizing portions of the Wolf's Crossing right-of-way as part of the trail development. So what she might perceive as an impact may not really materialize because we may be closer to the roadway itself.
When do they find out, like, what the value of this property is that we'll be taking, and when do we involve the homeowner?
So that's all, well, in Phase 1, we'll involve the homeowners in the design and the discussion and the potential mitigation and those kinds of things. As far as the actual land valuation and acquisition, that happens later in engineering because that is partially funded by these federal grants as well. So you identify what you need in Phase 1, in Phase 2 and 3, you're acquiring the property, and you can't really move forward with construction, obviously, until you've secured all of the easements that are necessary.
So one other thing too that I didn't see any reference to is water. They have some serious water issues now, and with all the natural culverts there, even with those, they have water issues. Now, we're probably going to be reducing or taking that all away. So I think that's an issue for even the people who live in the subdivision north of Wolf's Crossing.
Yes, I agree. And so it's incumbent upon us and our engineers to not exacerbate any problems that already exist. We can't always necessarily solve the problems that exist, but we won't make them any worse. So all of the drainage issues will all be taken into consideration as part of the design of the trail, both for the roadway itself and then the adjacent properties and the trail.
So I guess my biggest concern is I don't see how there's any way to safely allow people to cross Wolf's Crossing. I'm just really, we see very few people even crossing 248th, and that's not nearly as, the visibility is much better there. It's more open. You don't have trucks like you have on Wolf's Crossing.
Unfortunately, we can't make a connection when one end of the trail is on the north side and one end is on the south side without crossing.
Have we considered maybe having them cross Wolf's Crossing at Eola or closer to Eola where it's not so built up? And then they could travel along the south side of Wolf's Crossing, which is not really developed at this time. And then we could route, go south along Soccer Drive, which is fairly open, and then go along the south of the industrial park. That, to me, would
We
make
have a
more sense.
$760,000 grant from the state of Illinois to make a railroad crossing on Wolf's Crossing. What you've just suggested requires we do a crossing of a railroad in the middle of nowhere, which is far worse than creating a crossing of Wolf's Crossing Road in an area where we can do it safely and in accordance with federal guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Meta?
I just want to remind folks that where we're talking about on Wolf Crossing Road, people are currently walking in the street on those busy roads. So I appreciate that we want to make it as safe as possible. Within our means, that's what we're doing. I've been talking with Ralph about this almost since I got on the board 5 years ago. So I just want to assure everyone, so much thought and carefulness has gone into trying to make this as safe as possible, because we are very limited in what we can do right there with that road in the ownership and who can help and support us in that. So I just wanted to remind folks of that. Thanks.
Annette?
Ralph, this was part of the tour, right? The area, I think we got out there and walked. This
Yes,
area
yeah,
you're talking
Vermont
about?
Cemetery area. Mhm, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You know, since we don't have finance, I guess we have some time. We mentioned speed limit. I think, Julie, you had mentioned speed limit, you know, and just something I'd like to share dealing with transportation. You know, we see this a lot at the Transportation Committee, where vehicles are traveling too fast for the speed limit. And it's kind of opposite of what I always had thought, that, you know, why don't we just lower the speed limit? Well, when these studies are done, they study on the people, you know, what they're actually traveling and what they're comfortable, the speed they're comfortable at traveling at. And if we were to go ahead and lower it, it actually makes it more dangerous. And it's kind of opposite of what I've always thought. I just thought I would share that. Sometimes lowering the speed limit's not always recommended. So, whether that makes sense or not. Anyway, okay. We have a second previous. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Number 8, permission to seek proposals for audio-visual system upgrades at the Four Rivers Environmental Education Center. Ralph, would you mind just giving us an idea what exactly you're looking for over there? What kind of issues we're having?
Sure. So essentially what we've got is a system that was installed when we opened the facility 15 years ago, and it's no longer capable. The technology that's involved no longer supports the existing technology that we have no longer supports the advancements in technology that have been made with people's devices and the ways in which they can operate slideshows or even just speaking and broadcasting voice across the space. So what we're essentially doing is replacing the system that we installed 15 years ago. The cost of that system at that time was about $50,000. This upgrade is about, we're guessing, between $65,000 and $75,000 based on some preliminary discussions with various contractors. So it's essentially just redoing what we have there, but bringing the technology to 2023, 2024 standards.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Kavanaugh. For those of you who don't know, he is sitting in for Mr. Koopman this morning. Do we have a need for executive session, sir?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Not in your notes that
No.
Mr. Koopman gave you? Okay. Perfect. No actions to follow. There are reports provided. Easy for me to say. Are there any questions on any of the reports? for Mrs. Chapman. Julie?
I have a question about the Joliet Iron Works. Are we putting cameras in over there?
We have trail cams set up, correct. We don't have permanent cameras.
Okay, but you do have some cameras?
Yes.
No. Okay, great, thanks.
I know there was discussion on the use of flock cameras. I know the county allows the municipalities to use the flock cameras on our state highway system. And I was just glad to read here that the Forest Preserve is not interested in going down that avenue as of right now. There's a lot of problems with the installation of flock cameras, and also, in my opinion, I've seen it, the installation is very inferior, and they also like to use non-bargaining contractors. So I'm just glad to see that we're not going that route. Any other comments on the reports? Any questions? No? Okay. It says our next meeting date is Thursday, January 4th, 2024 at 9 a.m. here in the building. I would like to open it up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public wanting to make a comment? None? Any commissioners wanting to speak? None. Must be breakfast here coming up. Okay. Executive is at 10 a.m., so we have some time. So looking for a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We'll see everybody. Oh, okay. Special meeting 9:45. Who's chairing that? Ms. Ogal? Chair? Okay. Okay.